What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the GLL Nations. GLL Nations Royale. I almost forgot the final word there. It's midnight here in Stockholm, and we have our finals for the Americas about to take place. My name is Parla, and I'm your desk host for the duration of this weekend, and I'm joined, as always, by Toby.
Yes, how are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, good. Starting to feel the energy sapping out slightly, but I'm feeling invigorated knowing that we have some amazing 32 versus 32 PUBG action coming up next.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be really, really good. We see Brazil, we see America. Brazil, they beat off Argentina. BO5, it went to the 5th game. Down to the wire. And then the Americans, they took a little different approach. They knocked off the Canadians with some more style. I think it was actually a 3-0 in that one, if I don't remember wrong. So two very different entries to the finals here.
Indeed. And speaking about amazing games, let's take a look at the schedule for tonight, or this afternoon, this evening, the morning, wherever you are in the world. So these times are all in Central European time. Until then, we kind of like lose an hour, right, once we get into Central European summertime. But either way, keep an eye on your clocks. The first map's about to take place, which is roughly at midnight right now. The second will be at 12:45. Then we have 1:30, and things progress from there. Earlier today, we saw who would be making it into the European finals, Team Turkey versus Team Greece and Cyprus. And yet now, as Toby said, it's Brazil versus Team USA in the finals of the Americas. Toby, what can you tell me about the players on screen?
On screen, we see Brazil, and I want to highlight a few guys here, because right off the bat, we have Teknosh, of course, a huge personality coming out of the Brazilian community, but all the BRC guys, if I'm not remembering wrong, that would be the guys from Brazilian Crusaders, and they have just all made their way to the Face It game. So they're the only ones to represent the South of America. So really impressive. And also, of course, you could see, for those of you guys who are watching the American side of things, there are quite a lot of pro players on that list. So interesting. Yeah,
you sort of brought me up to speed with regards to that before we went live. Talking about going live, it looks as though we are dropping into Erangel, the first map. A veto would have already happened in terms of which maps are going to be played. I'm sure we'll be able to take a look at that later. But nonetheless, Erangel is the first.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting. And obviously, as we saw really early on, a lot of American players out early. I mean, I like the flags. That's not something we've had up until this point, for flags on the map as well. But they're clear that you see the Americans take control of the military side of things. And also, we got some good info before. So since these are technically two different regions playing against each other, because Brazil is South American against North America, right, you can see in the bottom is NA, which means that it's the North American servers they're on. And they said that the team that vetoes also gets to play on their server, which means that we're starting off at Erangel. That would be the NA pick then. And then the next game we play on Sanok would be the South American pick. And then it would be SA servers, I would assume, to see. So right now, North American servers and a North American map pick.
And that is the same veto order that we saw for Turkey versus Finland, I think.
No, it was the last one. Yeah, it was the... this is the Brazilian captain, Lula.
Oh, okay, yeah, the Brazilian captain on screen now. Lula, big streamer out in Brazil. He's got a legion of followers, and hopefully his legion of 31 Brazilians joining him on the squad is going to give him just as much support in this final.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how exactly they're planning on doing this. Teknosh just getting himself looted up in George Bull. They have clearly sort of done the whole gentleman's thing we talked about earlier. You go west, we go east, and vice versa. So seemingly no early game confrontations like we've seen before. And we've had some very, very different games throughout the European side of things today.
Yeah, earlier today in our two semi-finals, the methods and strategies executed by each nation were very different. Yeah. And the pace at which the games were played was constantly changing. Finland versus Turkey, it seemed that each game stepped up in terms of early aggression. And then when we moved over to the second semi-final, it was Greece and Cyprus versus Ukraine. And again, like the dynamic sort of plays, and when there's breaks between combat, everything was happening at different times. And it was great to see. And I'm wondering what comparisons and differences we'll be able to see between USA and Brazil and those matches we saw earlier today.
Only time will tell. At least for now, it seems like it's a little, I wouldn't say more organized in the sense that how they're looting and whatnot, but at least, I mean, the fact that we haven't lost a single player yet clearly means that, well, I mean, they're playing with a certain set of respect for one another, you would assume, at least, to see.
Yeah, just as we saw earlier, we know that the pace generally in the first few minutes, unless it's on Sandhock potentially, it's going to be a bit slower.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, overall, 32 versus 32 has a much faster pace than traditional competitive PUBG. And so the teams feel each other out, but it's a lot quicker than what we're used to. And when those engagements happen, the kill feed lights up.
Yeah, I was just going to say that as well. For those of you guys sitting out there on the other side of the Atlantic watching along, if you're sitting here 15 minutes in and nothing has really happened yet, and you're going, oh, this is kind of boring, I should go to the bathroom now, I'll be back in 2 minutes. By the time you come back, there's a chance that the game could be over. Because we talked about how it's just like this big pit of oil, and it just needs that little bit of spark to set it all on fire. Like, once the fights actually start, everything goes to chaos.
Okay, so there's sort of an environmental hazard to look out for there?
Oh yeah, I mean a huge pit of oil is never something you really
exactly
want to
like a metaphorical environmental hazard. I liked what you were doing with that. Very cool. Earlier we were getting into metaphors with regards to movies. We were talking about was it Star Wars?
There was Star Wars. There's the Lord of the Rings in there as well, and we'll see what we can come up with later on. Yeah.
Yeah. For now though, let's continue to ramble as these guys loot around the map, taking their time. If we can get a map overview quickly, I would like to see the structure with regards to how these two teams are set up, because as we mentioned before, things have been very different.
Yes.
Depending on the nation, the map, we've seen 50-50 splits across the map. Then we've seen nations splitting into two different forces, then sending off other sort of task forces from within squads to do different duties. And now we do see a rough split, if you kind of cast diagonal line, southwest to northeast. And the military base is currently occupied by Team USA, which you said is a very important area to have, just in general terms of control.
Yeah.
But we see that the first circle will be happening north.
Yeah, it's going to go northeast. I mean, not that far, no, center east, I guess you can say. And there's going to be plenty. Oh,
no.
Guys, this is why I don't rotate in a vehicle through the red zone. Because they did not only just get knocked, but America just lost 2 players.
Yeah.
That's a feels bad, man.
That's a bad loss early. 2 of those USA players going down.
Gotta respect the red zone, guys. You gotta respect that red zone. Feels blown up, man.
I wonder why they did that. They're not under much pressure now in terms of time,
it's greedy, right? It's
circle
greedy.
space, or even engagements, and they've just tried to rotate through there. Maybe they thought they were safe. Couldn't exactly see where they got hit in the red, but a bit careless.
There are corpses there. That shows the proof. It's one of those like, it's not gonna hit us, right? Kind of things, and then as soon as you say that, especially if you say it out loud, you jinx it even harder. So they will not live to see the end of this game. That's for sure.
I'm sure the Brazilians loved that, cackling away at their PCs.
Well, that was a good start to the game. Should we get some more red zones going their direction? That would be good. I mean, that's a funny thing too, right? Because sure, red zones are in the game, and as you can see right now, not really having the biggest impact up north, but we saw it on the Miramar map earlier today, how it goes center, like on a team that technically had the better position, but they're forced to just like sprint for cover, because all of a sudden they're all pinned down within a small area, and it changed up that entire game. Yeah.
The way Miramar played out was really cool, and referencing it now is interesting because the pace on it was definitely different, I think, to what we're seeing right here, where the two teams already are about to meet about the 8-minute mark, or at least there's a lot of there's a much closer interaction in the center of the map.
Yeah, I think everyone wants to try and see if they can go get that center position. Looks like Hunter, he's trying to see if he can maybe scout his way forward a bit, help here in the area that we like to call Volcano. There's a big dip up here that you can hide in, and you see all the Brazilians. They're kind of making their presence known up here as well. So a bit of muscle flexing for both teams, just coming up and showing their forces and sort of doing the whole Native American thing where you stand up with all the horses up. But look now,
it's Fast and Furious Erangel drift.
Who gets it? Who gets it?
It's Team USA Profi that jumps out first. He is getting shot from all angles, though, as the Brazilians jump out. He does manage to get a knock onto Roggy Wow.
It's the captain out shooting. Guns blazing to start off things, but look at the speed of which these guys are coming in. Now they're knocking each other. That's not what you want to have happen, but nades are coming in as well.
That's a good nade.
Oh, it's right in the money.
Ooh, and Profi taking a lot of damage. He does get knocked. Hunter also on the end of the rifle from Rednex. Zanpa takes out Zogawo, and now we're starting to see a lot of action.
Surprisingly early on, too, because they don't need to fight over this space. Sure, it's good to have a center compound, but I mean, we haven't really seen that being a huge difference maker before, right? Profi goes down and out, so that's a captain out, and we talked earlier today about how captains can be somewhat more useful to a certain extent once they're out, but Profi being a great fragger, I know that's going to be a loss for the team for sure.
What Toby is referencing to anybody at home that didn't see the European games earlier, the captain for the Greek Cypriot team, it was Chinjay. I have problems pronouncing it. I call him George. That's how he introduced himself to me. Yeah, when he played on their first map, he had a great impact in-game. Then on the second map, he died instantly. The first one down.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a kill, then he was the first one down. But he managed to continue leading the troops and have a good impact on the game through generalship.
One thing that I'm noticing already is a big difference to what we've seen earlier today is rotations. Look at this. Sure, the circle hard shifted up to the eastern side, or northeastern side, but they're all rotating instantly.
They're mirroring each other, right?
Yeah. It could be a region thing.
Potentially.
I mean, how these guys just do things differently.
Potentially, indeed. Look at this. Convoy.
We've seen more people knocked by vehicles
bike
so far than actual shooting.
Our drone cameraman doing a great job here of capturing the action. As the intensity builds up, we have now seen something that we saw earlier today in terms of where an engagement happens and it can be quite intense, quite a lot of fire being exchanged, and then there's like this sort of pause. Sit back, let's reallocate our resources, make sure we're not overcommitting, and now, again, things kick off, some shots start getting fired again.
I really like the positioning from the American team, because if they can figure that they have the entirety of the Brazilian team sort of pinned inside of the city, all you gotta do is exactly what they're doing right now, go all the way around the northern side, because they have the water on the west, can't raid out there. If they can pin them down inside Yasnaya already and then have the next circle go well anywhere but inside the city, it's going to be really difficult for the Brazilians to leave.
Indeed. If you look on the minimap, we can see Shinboy. I'm wondering if that's a intentional name or if he was supposed to be Shinobi.
Oh, yeah, maybe it was just like a middle misclick on the whole letters and he couldn't correct it once you had it.
Not entirely sure, but I like Shinboy.
Shinboy, that's a good name, yeah.
Shinboy.
Yeah. Can't take that away from him.
Looking to connect with the shin.
Yep. I mean, clearly...
damage.
Clearly, that's the fourth time in 11 minutes that a Brazilian player runs over his teammates.
Fourth time?
Fourth time in 11 minutes.
I missed that. We did see some friendly fire earlier on. Andy, at one point when he was in an intense gunfight.
Oh, yeah.
General of Team Finland, he almost shot one of his teammates.
A little two-streaker heavy.
And then also Team Greece and Cyprus. Vehicular warfare on their own.
Yeah.
On their own.
Yeah, it happens in the heat of the moment. You know, you just got to shoot at everything active around you. And unfortunately, teammates were then, look at all the bolt action snipers being put to use with a high ground advantage into the city. Punich and Microfry, two very, very, very high caliber players coming out of the American pro scene. They are making those weapons work and they're connecting a shot straight to the heads of their opponents.
Yeah. The way that this is playing out right now, it seems that Poliana? Is that the correct pronunciation?
Yasnaya. Just Yasnaya.
Yasnaya?
Yep. It's the first part of the word. You just cannot see it initially.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, it seems as though this has become a hotbed for action. We've got the Brazilians holed up in different urban locations, and it's the American team that are trying to use the geography to their advantage. Both teams, though, having relatively strong control of the circle. This is a good mid-game moment that I think is going to lead up to some explosive action very, very soon.
This is interesting, too, because Lula, the team captain, is actually up north. All by his lonesome, just sitting up there now. Players from the American team are getting up here to take control. We talked about how they could pin them down inside, right? But Lula and Nathalia, they need to do something to hold all these guys off, because will they be allowed to do this sort of pincering? Then it's going to be so difficult for the Brazilian team to get out.
Yep, Lula now noticing the pressure coming from Team USA, trying to get a bit underneath the hill that he was previously on top of, hiding and protecting himself from any fire. Natalia there to help him, and also Falska, not in the best position. Team USA having utilised the high ground to push them out and lay down some fire. The Brazilians return, keeping the USA team at bay.
Yeah, Lula, he clearly needs to get more troops up here, because if they don't sort of fight these guys off now, you can see how many more troops are coming in from the southeast side already. If they allow for them to completely swarm around them, then that could be game one out. And sure, this is the American map pick, so maybe they're just saying, we'll just wait for Sanok. There's still plenty more games to be played, but you want to get off to a good start still. We talked about how they went into 5 games in their semifinals, and the Americans did a 3-0 sweep on the Canadians. They don't want to let them come off to a good start, that's for sure.
Yeah, indeed. We still see, I'm not sure exactly in terms of numbers, but it seems as though half the Brazilian team is outside of the city and half are still holed up in buildings or cover.
Lula is down all by himself. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get rest here. That he's going down rather quickly. And nope, that's going to be it. Down he goes. And out of the match he is as well. Now we'll see if that's the thing with both the captains being down so early on. If they can rally their troops and send them in the right directions here to start things off in game one.
The Americans are really banding together on the high ground. They feel that this is a strong geographical location to battle for. And now it seems that the no man's land is sort of the medium hill in between, and then it's the Brazilians creating their camp down below, whilst the other half of their squad is still in Yasnaya.
Yeah, it's Yasnaya. Correct, Yasnaya. I mean, they're committing to the city, and it's in case it goes in there. For the American team to get in there, should they be able to sit on the entire northern side and hold them off, it's going to be so difficult. So I kind of like it, but maybe they're committing too many people inside, because they're taking a lot of casualties up here in the open. New circle pops.
Big nade, great nade.
Yep.
Ooh, just misses, goes a bit long. That's actually the point you just raised, was an answer to a question I was about to ask you in terms of why aren't they making a play here to try and support the team? Aren't they a bit sort of cornering themselves within the city?
You see it right there on the map as well. Look at the amount of landmass that is not inside the city. They have 4 apartment buildings right now to sit in. Everything else is out in the fields in the open, and they need to make them way out of the city right now.
On board with Lee Prodigy.
Just Lil
Prodigy, maybe?
Maybe just Prodigy.
Yeah,
maybe he just wants to be a Prodigy.
Yeah, maybe he is a Prodigy. He is.
Yeah. I mean, he's a competitive player, like high-level competitive player. So he's clearly a Prodigy that is already. What do you do when you're not a Prodigy anymore? You go beyond
from being prodigal, from being a Prodigy to become a fulfilled Prodigy.
The fulfilled Prodigy, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Prodigy that fulfilled their potential.
Yep, exactly. That's what he is stand for.
If anyone in the chat can tell us, that would be great. Now the kill feed lighting up with the USA team knocking down a bunch of the Brazilians. Micro Fry here pushed up quite deeply as the Brazilians try to rotate into a better position within the circle. They're actually still outside of the circle. Yeah. They're trying to make a play to move in, and what we can expect now is Team USA to pressure them to stay outside of that space. As the circle closes in 1 minute and 50 seconds, it's really going to force the Brazilians to make a move, in which the USA then can just post up and lay down some fire.
Microfire is all by himself, though, and I think the Brazilians have caught on to that. Technosh is kind of all by himself as well, but now the help is coming in. You can see Micro is trying to hold off the angle, he's trying to hold them all off, but it ain't gonna be easy. He has Sandpa up north, one of his friends from his competitive team. They have a chance to do something, but right now he's 1 versus 5 players, and that ain't gonna happen. Kovac comes around the corner, secures himself a kill.
Good stuff. 26-21 in terms of what I've seen so far isn't a massive lead. Brazil completely still in this, but the key to note here is that the circle is definitely not favouring them. And look at this, the stretch of this expanse of emptiness. The USA traces coming in blue, perhaps signalling one of the colours on the American flag. You're not going anywhere, Brazil, right now. They're trying to lay smokes down to give themselves more opportunity to move around and potentially misdirect the opponents. But it's not looking too good for them in terms of positioning.
Not at all. This is like if you had a full-on drought and the entire water between the British Canal just completely died out, this would be D-Day on land. I mean, this is trying to make the run on through, and there's just no beach to leave. It's just one big beach that never ends.
Yeah.
It's going to be so hard. And they're positioning themselves so well up north as well.
Yeah, indeed. They're spread out, but they've also got sort of like a concentration in certain areas. The key angles are being locked down. The Brazilians need some knocks to kind of take pressure off themselves.
A lot of them too. Because look at the pressure. Now they're saying, okay, we got one guy knocked. Boom, immediately. Down we go. And
I'm surprised by this from Team USA. We can see in the southeast of the circle, they've pushed through in a bit of a convoy. That surely means they're in the no man's land. They're outside the circle. Maybe this is a play to try to force the Brazilians. Maybe they feel they can make some trades here and it's going to be beneficial in the long run.
They know that could the Brazilian team come up here, they would have some sort of cover, and they're going to say, you know what, we ain't going to give them that. We do not want to give them a chance. Now they're within nade distance too. I mean, one perfectly thrown nade here would be 5 or 6 knocks.
Yeah.
And they're like, just a meter out of range as well.
They are on... Speak of the devil, Toby, you called it a quad nade, or at least a triple nade, and then a follow-up by Unclevis and Punage as well. This is absolute destruction. The smokes, unfortunately, will not deflect the grenades. A raining hellfire of explosive fragments doing huge damage to Brazil.
It's Carnage and Poning, so it's Punage. That's why it has his name, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, it must be, because he just completely annihilated like their entire front. Every hope they had of making it up to that little plank house was completely torn to pieces with his nades thrown there.
Natali there takes some fire, gets knocked, and then goes down for good. Pat Cap's playing excellently on the edge of the blue here. This is a very smart strategy once they've got an advantage, and he even picks up a car to bring it back.
I mean, you gotta say, like they push from Nerve. Pretty aggressive, but clearly he knows that there are people around. It's like, come on, you guys can't take all the kills.
Yeah,
you can't take all the kills. I want some of them too. So he's just going full on forward mode all by himself. Like to see it.
Oh, he comes around, gets knocked.
Too much for him to handle, though.
Yeah, I would have said maybe it makes more sense to stay on the other side of the building, or at least on...
he got a little greedy. Let's put it at that. He got a little greedy.
But there we go. The trade comes out. Both players knocked.
How many kills does Punich have at this point? I'm kind of curious to see, because he's been doing a lot of damage. 4, okay, and two knocked players. Kaisuka runs over himself. Let's ignore that. But it's clear to me to say the Americans have stepped up in the sense that you cannot play this if they win the game here as well, right? Pretty well in style.
Indeed. Team Brazil is eliminated. The first map, Erangel, goes to Team USA.
Wow.
That played out in a steady fashion at the start, but then suddenly we had that long battle that sort of led to the demise of Brazil. 7 kills for Uncivilis, 5 for Punage. Some great play there. The positioning and potentially a bit of that circle luck, that RNG, got them into a good situation.
But they also played the odds, right? They knew that, I mean, the city is only so big. Odds are that the circle going anywhere else, we will have it on our side. And they played the positional game to their advantage.
Yeah, and we did mention at that point where it seemed the Brazilian side, half of them were lingering around for a bit too long within Yesenia, that maybe that was ill-advised, and they end up getting out-rotated, out-positioned, and regardless of their strong start and the red zone failure of Team USA.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they didn't manage to kind of hold on.
This was absolute. Can we? Is it allowed to say they got whooped? Because they did, pretty much. I mean, they had no comeback at all. We talk about you gotta dictate your own battle. You cannot allow for your opponents to take the battlefield. Civils comes in with 3, make that 4. It was just, I mean, absolute and utter cluster of carnage.
Grenades. Cluster of grenades.
Yes.
A cluster grenade, if you've ever played Worms.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Donkey, my kingdom for the donkey. Is that the one that
Yes.
donkey all the way down?
I get the reference. Anyway, in this case, it was the grenades from Team USA that were the killing blow, so to speak, in that moment where Brazil pushed into the no man's land. The fields, the smokes, I guess in a sense they know when the smoke is up, you aim it in the smoke. Probably going to be some guy hiding in there trying to not get hit. And if you throw in an explosive, it's much better than just spraying randomly, right?
I mean, Uncivils and Punich took out a third, more than a third actually, of the Brazilian team by
7 and 5, right? 12.
By themselves.
Yeah, indeed. Great percentage there. Interesting first map.
Yeah, but that was, of course, that was the American map pick. So
Indeed.
nothing is determined at all. We are going over to the... And also they played with a ping, the Brazilians. So clearly they had an advantage.
All right, well, Toby, thank you so much for your input on this first map. Remember, everybody at home, this is a best of 5. Do not go anywhere. We will be back for map 2 very, very shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Parla, and I'm still joined by Andy, my fantastic co-host and analyst. This is GLL Nations Royale America's Grand Finals. Team Brazil versus Team USA. Team USA managed to capture the first... I called you Andy.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, mate.
I was
Toby, PUBG.
There's a why.
Why did you let it slide? You should have been like, well, wait a second.
Whoa.
It's T-O-B.
Yeah.
Not A-N-D.
In one of the 4, you had like 25% of the letters correct, so...
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty...
1 out of 4, not bad, yeah. Team USA managed to grab the first map in quite an emphatic fashion. I think they ended up with over 20 players remaining out of their 32. And so are Team Brazil going to be able to bounce back on Sandhawk?
We'll see. I mean, it's their map pick. It's not like Counter-Strike where you have a big map pool. This is, I mean... Even though the other guys picked the map, it's still, I mean, everyone is equally good on all maps, I would say, especially when it's in this. When you go down to individual competitive teams, maybe there's some that have an advantage over some on others. But in this, I think everyone is probably equally good on all maps.
Indeed. Thanks for that, Andy.
Oh, you're welcome, Joe.
Going into Sandhawk, we know it's a much smaller map. And, of course, what we've seen so far on it, in terms of explosiveness, close quarter combat, it seems the pace picks up very, very fast. Probably the fastest out of all of the maps.
We say that, but then we saw this map as well. Kind of burned out real quickly on a wrangle too, right?
Well, on Sandhawk before, we saw...
Oh, it was just chaos, true.
Yeah, chaos from the very start in the first couple of minutes, minute and a half.
True.
A wrangle this time, it was about 8 minutes in, 9 minutes in, where we saw those first engagements.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, and so...
Oh, that new name, you're Pablo, I like that.
Parla, Pablo, and
Andy.
Tobias, Andy. Nice. What's Tobias? That's a weird way to spell Andy.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Production, you've clearly spelled something wrong.
Anyway, guys, let's jump into this second map. Welcome to the jungle. The drops are going to be important. Andy, tell me more about
Are we doing this for the rest of the day?
No, I'll stop it, all right?
I just wanted to know.
Boot camp. Tell me about boot camp.
Tell you about boot camp. That's where the action's going to be, and this today as well. Not a whole more to it, but we'd have some technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. No, guys, we're just memeing, all right? But that bottle on the floor looks rather enticing.
Oh, yeah.
2 bottles.
2. We can share ABC.
Yeah.
So we learned to spell as well.
Oh,
This
wow.
is amazing. But clearly, we have once again come down to it. If you win boot camp, you win Sandhawk. It's like a win it's like the mini game within the game, you know?
That's what you told me. And it's a trade to start off. 2 knocks for, actually now 2 knocks for Brazil, 1 for Team USA. This battle for boot camp has started us off in the first minute and a half. It is a classic Sandhawk.
Yep. Cuba leader got 1, but goes down immediately in return. Aloe and bad caps. Taking the only person with a kill so far on the Brazilian team is down. And Bad Caps wasn't expecting that one around the corner. Mufasa secures himself a kill.
If you see so many of the opposing team landing in the same area, surely you've got to try to be aware of every possibility, every angle.
Yeah.
He kind of came around that corner, not checking almost every angle, or at least over the counter where
when you know
the
there's
player was.
Yeah, when you see there's so many players landing in the area, you gotta, and that's the issue with Sandhawk. I mean, even though you try to peek every single corner, there are just too many corners to peek sometimes. I mean, there's so many angles you have to watch out for. Technish though, down early and out. Seems like Lula, though, securing some kills in return. So what Technosh couldn't do, the team captain is coming in and right into the occasion. And Mufasa with a double there.
Vasenya! Sorry.
Wow. We're doing that now too. Took down Profi, but seems like he's going to be able to get rest.
Explosive action here in the boot camp. Mufasa there inspiring me to look at the Lion King for some inspiration. That was a great play by him, really putting it to Team USA. Arthur now as well, relatively even on the scoreboard, but a lot of action, a lot of knocks.
You know what's ironic about us playing this map and having Mufasa die? That he couldn't get killed by a Scar. Because it's not on this map.
I got that one. I got that one. That was, you took my meme and you elevated it to something that probably 2 men at 1 a.m. What is it? 1 a.m. in the morning could only come up with, watching 32 versus 32 PUBG with a guy called Mufasa on one team.
Yeah, and no Scars being on this map. It's amazing. I love it. Thank you so much.
And exact Scars not being on the map.
Yeah. Profi is clearly trying to stay alive. He is very knocked and on his knees. He is also very alone. I don't think anyone's going to come to the rescue here, unfortunately. But this is exactly what we saw last time around. Somehow this
Men
is
crawling everywhere.
Yeah, there's one big kindergarten. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, everyone's turning.
And look at the circle. I mean, America's just fighting
wow.
everywhere but inside the circle right now.
And I wonder if they know they have the numbers advantage up there now. Either way, they're going to have to start making a move to the circle. They don't want to be left outside for too long. We saw that really put the Brazilians in a tough position when they were hanging around Yesenia on Erangel in the last map.
Nathalia taken down 2, so we've tied things up at 22. Shots continuously being fired. Now Rillo is under fire as well. I mean, this just has been shots fired since game start, and I don't think it's going to end until one team is dead.
I don't think so either. I think everyone has to die at some point, right? Natenyo with 2 knocks on Machine Gunner, and I'm Rello. Went with the sort of American twang there.
Yeah.
Not sure if it worked out. Necro, though, working out. All things working out for Team Brazil. 2 complete kills there.
We are playing South American servers. Maybe they get themselves the ping advantage.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, could be.
We are seeing the servers change depending on the pick. First one was on a North American server. Now we are in South America.
Now Shinboy and Nerf. They had some Nerf going up that hill, but they seemed like they went back down.
They did. And now, again, we see that momentum in terms of a big engagement, lots of fire being exchanged, and then a rest, a calm.
Yeah. As you say that, they all start shooting yet again. Seth Bowden tried to do something, but not working out his way.
Seth Bowden.
It's the normal. You can't laugh at that.
Bowden. Yeah. Twitch Poonage there. Handy hoof getting finished off by Zanpa. It's an explosive start, as we expect.
It is.
Sanhok.
Surprisingly so. I mean, when we saw what the previous game we had here, there was not a whole lot going on in the beginning when we had the Greek team.
When we start off with Finland and Turkey, Sanhok was
crazy.
Was very quick. It was the third map. It was do or die for Finland. They tried to take the fight to Turkey straight away. And then, yeah, you're right. When we got onto Greece and Cyprus versus Ukraine, Sanhok started off more measured and actually fighting across larger distances, and then everything closed in. Yeah. It's like they got to that close quarter combat a lot later.
But it was funny how last game everyone played so circle-dependent, whereas here it's more of a, let's just see how fast we can get this game over with. We're 6 minutes in, and once again, we've pretty much lost half the server.
We have indeed. Exactly. No, not exactly.
No. We're still 8 players out.
Don't try and do math, guys, when you've been up all day. All right? Never. There's a golden rule, right, of being on a broadcast. Just don't ever try to do math on broadcast.
Nope, it doesn't. Rarely ever works out the way you want it to. Punic, once again, he was kill heavy last game, and he is putting up the numbers this time around as well. Nerf, you can see down behind the rocks. Using a microphone a little further up front to do the front on running. And there's they can get some more Arthur, though. By himself, taken down as well. So it seems like instead of fighting as a full team, the Brazilians are kind of sending their troops in a little one by one-ish, and the Americans are just standing waiting for them.
Indeed. Off there, finally falls, knocked completely out of the server. Guben as well. A lot of American flags lighting up our kill feed. Brazil unable to make a response. That ties up a bit closer. And another one, Osni, heading off the server for now, 18-16.
Nate's thrown all over the place. Nerf almost got that one towards him, but fortunately did not hit him. And a lot of players now from the Brazilian team opted to cross back over on the other side of the water. Makes perfect sense, but maybe they should have, like, either, as we said in the previous games, either you commit all the ones to the other side, or you retreat with everyone. Because doing that kind of half thing means that they just lost a lot of players potentially, not really for any reason.
Nerf on fire right now, landing some nice shots there onto one of the Brazilians. I also think he's quite literally on fire, considering he's in a jungle wearing a big woolly coat, leather pants, and a mask.
That ain't gonna be healthy. Unless if you're like really doing some cardio stuff.
Some cardio,
wanna
weight
burn off
loss
the
work.
fat, you know, yeah. But look at this from the other side.
Oh, a great squish.
Flankerino is coming in.
Flankerino collapsing in on the Brazilians, Team USA. But if the Brazilian other half can kind of maneuver around, they could potentially flank the flankers or at least get an angle to their side. Hertor there getting knocked. He does have teammates around him. What is it? Heritor?
Hetror? Heritor?
Hetror.
It sounds like something from a medieval movie, like Heritor.
Yeah, what's it? Thor?
Thor?
Herator?
I don't know where we're going with this one, boys.
It's He-Man and Thor mixed together.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, but in any case, this guy's called Hetero, and he's a good PUBG player as well. But I mean, it seems like the flank got a little sort of numbed down, but now they're once again making things work, and they're just spraying out like crazy people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to seeing gamer tags like Fallen, Device, you know, and now I have to say
actual words.
Yeah, now I have to say RDNX, RDNX.
These guys are just more creative. Easy. They're just more creative. Rusty Sarah, that's
something that we've wanted to see throughout the tournament today is creativity in the play, and it seems like the USA crush from their two from the two sides of their team that were overwhelming the Brazilians is coming to fruition. The Brazilians now almost 2-1 behind.
Leonardo, Leox spots out Mumby, gets him down as well, but more people are coming. Hetero taken down as well.
Play.
2 plays taken out, but as you can see, Signal, they know he's down to low health. He wants to finish one off, but goes down in return.
There we go. Can't take them all out, Leonardo.
No.
Leonardo Leox.
Need the back up of the other Ninja Turtles if you want to do all of it.
Yep. And maybe a bit of help from the rat guy as well.
Oh,
His name's Splinter.
Splinter. Wait, what's that? Is that the bad guy?
Why did you say it like Batman? Splinter! Where is she?
Where is she?
Wait, Splinter's the Shredder's
Shredder's
the bad guy.
Shredder's the bad guy.
Splinter's the good guy.
Yeah, maybe we should said Shredder with the bad.
Really going for the one-man army flank. He does definitely have their position. I think he has completely caught them off guard here. But one versus...
You know what? It's a flank. It's a flank.
Yeah.
You can never count out a flank.
That's 1 versus 14.
You can never count out a flank. I like it. He's a little out in the blue, sure, but he has a chance. There's a chance. And that's what you got to do. You just gotta believe, man.
Belief.
Yep.
One of the key facets of life. Self-improvement.
I don't want you to die by the red zone, Zampa, but...
We've got Zampa...
in the tuk-tuk.
Taking a little ride off into the distance, playing the edge of the blue. Beeping, trying to get Mombi to hop in with him. Guys, let's go to the market.
How many people can you fit in the tuk-tuk?
I'm not sure.
I think it's free, right? Yeah.
Never trust a pantless driver, though.
Never trust a pantless driver.
Never trust a pantless driver, that old saying. Oh, please. Oh, can you? No, you can't go off that. It looked like a ramp to me. It was the top of a roof on the edge of a hill.
Gotta get some style points.
Yeah.
Flare guns being fired. Seems like they're firing themselves.
What is the purpose of the flare?
You shoot it straight in the air and you get a crate.
Ah, I see.
And if you're out in the blue, you get a armored vehicle.
I was like, okay, that's quite obscure weaponry. Again, to everybody watching at home that's not up to speed, Toby is the expert here. I have a lot less knowledge compared to him. So when I see a flare gun, I'm thinking, can you shoot that at someone's face?
You can, but it doesn't do any damage.
Oh, but it doesn't do any damage.
But it
cool distraction.
Yeah, it surprises people. Quite
Taken by surprise. Here we go, guys. Going into the final moments of this battle. USA really now stacking up in a big force. We also have a car there trying to distract. Rednex takes them both out, though. 13-5.
Yeah.
Could we see an unlikely comeback here?
Odds are against it, but then again, we've seen crazier things happen before. Furia, they are some really talented players coming out of Brazil as well, but they have one hell of a tough task ahead of them. They have gotten a lot of kills so far. Prodigy taken out there as well, but I do not think they're going to be able to finish off.
Very smart here.
Players.
It's that classic esports trading scenario. USA know they have that numbers advantage. If they push up, the Brazilians simply don't have all the angles and all the bullets to take them out, and only now 3 remain, only 2 of which are up. Now just 1?
I mean, now they're dead because now the flanker died, so now there's no change.
Okay, yeah, exactly. No, there are 2 standing.
There's 1.
Just 1. Okay, cool. It's hard to see on the mini-map sometimes. And there we go. Team USA have annihilated Team Brazil in 12 minutes and 45 seconds.
That's got to be the quickest game we've had throughout these entire finals.
Poonage again with a high frag count, 4 kills, and it was Aguila on top. And Alo again, Alo coming through with 4 also. That was
12 minutes and 40 seconds.
Imagine seeing that in normal competitive PUBG game.
Yeah.
12-minute matchup, hot drops everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, we get hot drops, but then we get like the 10 players that are left alive to just try to find each other for the next 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
This is insane. Actually have a game end in 12 minutes.
In this sort of scenario, as an analyst, is it harder to see the key moments that led to victory for Team USA and defeat for Team Brazil? Because it seemed to me we saw the initial fights, like, on screen right now in boot camp.
Yeah.
And then after that, it just seemed like a fight that sort of moved around. People split away for a bit into sort of 2 different squads per team. But ultimately, it was just constant action.
Yeah.
Knocks here and there. And eventually, USA getting the dubs, getting that chicken dinner.
I think the only really strategic move we saw used at all in this game, to a certain extent, was the flank around the side from the team that dropped in hides in earlier on. But what we saw here, to me, was, I mean, not that much orchestration, just continuously moving forward as a big wave. And I think you can be honest and say we saw it here as well. I mean, this just all came down to America having better fracking power than the South Americans did.
I'm just imitating the emote that we saw at the end.
Oh, that's what you're doing, yeah.
For me, it reminded myself of Dark Souls, Praise the Sun. I'm not sure if you know that reference. Also, Platoon, the cover.
Oh, yeah, with all the... Yep, that one I know.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder did a good...
also
Tropic
the
Thunder,
one with
that's
Owen
what
Wilson.
We just saw.
Yeah, that is true.
Sorry, please, Toby, I'm
just
getting
saying the Owen Wilson one where he likes...
Oh, you're staying in reference zone with me, please.
Yeah. Oh, the Rock one also where he has like the flares. Don't drop the bomb on Alcatraz. He's also like that with his arms.
The Rock?
Like, not the Rock guy, but the movie.
Oh, The Rock, yeah.
Yeah. Not The Rock, not Dwayne, not DJ.
I was like, the Rock with Alcatraz.
Yeah.
We just saw our own version of Tropic Thunder there. Team USA did a great job of really accelerating the pace, making their will be known. Would you like to say any final closing thoughts about that second map?
I hope for the Brazilian teams that what they weren't able to pull off on Sanok, they'll be able to bring on Miramar. Because if they don't, then... I mean, clearly they got them down to 12 players alive, so they took a lot of players. But, I mean, the way that the Americans are playing right now, I do not see Brazil stopping them.
Yeah, well, we're in that same position again.
Yeah.
Where Brazil need the reverse sweep to win. That was the story, if you didn't see, of earlier today. Team Anstey, Team Finland needed the reverse sweep. Ukraine needed the reverse sweep. They managed to get one map, but then fell 3-1. And now it's the same story for Team Brazil. Can they do the unimaginable comeback? This is GLL Nations Royale. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back for map 3 in about 5 minutes.
You think I'll beg for mercy? Fall to my knees to be your girl. Are you really that deluded? I wouldn't touch you for the world. 'Cause I know, I wake up in the morning thinking this is my new love. And I know, we break up in a week because of your smart man syndrome. I wish you were as big as, I wish you were as big as, yeah, I wish you were as big as your ego. I wish
GLL Nations Royale, 2 men, 1 desk, 1 AM, 64 players, 2 generals. What is about to happen next? It's the Americas finals, Team Brazil versus Team USA. Toby, what did we just see in the chat from apparently one of the American players?
I think I saw something like the Brazilians will fall. Or will
fall to the hand of freedom.
To the hand of freedom. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not gonna say who wrote it, but you can scroll up maybe if you want to. Well, they will fall to the hand of freedom. So clearly, there's some confidence on the American side of things.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, if you're taking a break from focusing in on the match and then getting in the chat to do some naughty talk, you're feeling pretty confident in yourself.
Yeah, you must be.
Same with us when all we do is reference films.
But we're having a good time doing it, and we hope you guys are as well.
Exactly. Guys, who do you think is about to win this 3rd map? Remember, if Team USA take it, that's 3 map victories, meaning they win the best of 5 and they are the champions of the Americas in GLL Nations Royale. Of course, at this point, Brazil need the reverse sweep. Which map are we going on to? It's Vikendi. No, it's not. I'm looking at my old notes. Which map are we on? Vito, anybody? Miramar.
Yeah.
Thank you, producer Niklas.
I didn't want to tell you. I just wanted to see you like.
Yeah, just like when I called Randy, you just let it fly.
I'm just like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. All
we'll
good.
see where it takes us.
All good, all good. All right, now let's talk about the details of Miramar. I think we've seen some really good games on it today. It seems to be a slow burner and then everything comes to a fore, but it gives an opportunity for both teams, the generals, to sort of make measured decisions with more time. There's not as much pressure, I think.
Honestly, I think we will see something different this time. I know how I called out in the previous matches when we've seen Miramar that things are going to get slowed down. But with the momentum and the speed that the American team is playing with right now, I think they're just going to, where they're dropping, we just send it. I don't think they have 1 inch of, I don't want to say respect because that sounds rude and that's not at all what I mean. I just think they're feeling so confident right now that they're just going to hunt it until the game is over. Like, doesn't matter where the circle is, doesn't matter if they're chasing them into the blue with pants only. They're gonna be sending it full speed.
Do you
forward.
think we're gonna see a fabled pan drop where they just go in?
I mean, you don't really land like with pants, so you can't do that.
Yeah, I know, a melee drop, I should say.
We
And just going
that,
some old fisticuffs.
But as we say
Let's
that,
find out.
they are clearly jumping out somewhat early. So maybe, sorry, that won't be the case. But of course, we will have to see that map in just a while. No, it seems like it's a little more organized than what we saw previously.
Okay, so right now, Team USA splitting into at least... Oh, okay, so this is kind of like 4 different directions at the start. They could, of course, change their trajectories in the air. We saw in the earlier matchups from the European side of things that people kind of scout in the air and then turn around and move back. But right now, to the southeast, we see 2 different groups.
What I think, the 2 areas that I think will be the focus point right now is going to be Picado and it's going to be Hacienda. 3v4. 3v4 and Hacienda. This is the mini game within the game, you know, just like boot camp.
So this is micro as opposed to macro that we were speaking about earlier. This is a battle in a smaller area and Cubalita.
Ironic. I wonder who the guy was that wrote something about freedom.
Goes down spoiler alert.
Instantly.
I like that. Very cheeky, Toby. Very cheeky.
Goes down instantly. That's got to be a feels bad.
Yeah, and then another Signo TV.
They're coming back, guys. They're not afraid of you. They're saying, you know what, you can ride all you want, but we will indeed come and make you pay for it.
A lot of action at the very start here. So again, I can't exactly remember the details of Miramar at the start before, but I don't believe that we saw kills like this happening in either of the times we saw it.
No. Teams were, just in general, splitting out a lot more. But as we said before, seems to me like the Americans did indeed take control over Hacienda. Now the issue could become the fact that, they're very much surrounded by a ton of Brazilian players. And if we can take a look down towards the
red
Picado area of things as well, there's a lot of shooting happening inside of Picado. And of course, for those of you guys wondering why are we calling out players, it's only good fun. There's absolutely no shade being thrown. We're just having a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these players have been putting in hard work over the day, and I feel like right now, USA are not afraid to back down. They are, following the charge that they sort of placed in that last 12-minute matchup on Sanhok.
They are going full speed forward, guns blazing, and they are not stopping before they get themselves the kills. I like that little one. Is that a sign that we're not allowed to see Picado, or...
Hulk Jesus! Hulk Jesus is back. Guys, if you've only tuned in for the Americas portion of today, Hulk Jesus is a meme that me and Toby have been trying to push and promote.
Hulk Jesus.
We're heavily invested in Hulk Jesus, so please, if you could spam some Hulk Jesus in the chat, we'd most appreciate it.
Is this the point at which we both get the Hulk Jesus emote made on our Twitch channels?
A global emote.
Yeah.
Hulk Jesus. Redder next now with 2 knocks onto William Mombi. Some great play there. He was in a tough spot, which he wormed his way out of. And again, could he get a third?
Holy cow, he's pulling it off
He's
here.
getting some help from teammates, but this is an intense battle, which the Brazilians are really benefiting from.
They are. I mean, they've only gotten themselves 1 kill off of the last, I think, 5 or 6 ones. We saw a lot of Brazilian kills in the kill feed. Now Wooly goes down as well. So this could be the tie. This could be the thing to turn things around. And as I said before, I mean, despite Brazil being down, they're not a team to give up. They will continue fighting. And, well, I mean, they cannot get too coggy on the American side.
Hacienda, a lone unit of USA warriors, stands firm, surrounded by the enemy.
Sounds like any movie I've seen with Michael Bay being the director over the last 15 years.
Beads of solitary sweat dropping from their stern faces.
Left alone against all odds.
I went with like I don't know why I went with the SAS accent, like the sort of UK accent. It should have been it should have been the American sort of.
Oh, I'm not American at all.
No, I know, but your accent was there.
Oh yeah. I guess I can fake a Batman, but that's about the best American I'll ever get.
Yeah. No, you're from Copenhagen.
Yep.
That's the correct. Whoa!
What is
Hey,
this
get
kid?
this away. There's only one photo that. Well, there's only one painting that we praise.
I just love the facial expression of
right?
the kid. I just like the facial expression of the child. And the
Hulk
Jesus. He's not pleased with our jokes. Every time we make bad references or jokes, Hulk Jesus comes up and says, "No, guys, no."
We've got Alfred the Wise. He's like
it's Saint what? It's Saint At? Is that what it says?
I don't know.
It said Saint and then AD. Oh, after. Okay. I'm actually.
I don't know. We're descending into madness. Hulk Jesus placed a curse on us.
Hulk.
Why has he got flashlights on him?
Because he's Hulk Jesus.
Because he's Hulk Jesus and he deserves to be the star of the show. No.
Yeah.
So right now there is a bit of a break in the action. That's kind of why.
Oh, that's what's happening.
We can.
It's not because we're prioritizing Hulk Jesus over the
pray
actual
to Hulk Jesus. I really am interested in seeing how these 3 centralized American players deal with this Hacienda situation, because they are effectively completely surrounded.
Yeah.
They're going to rely on the support of their teammates to help them in some way. But they could either be a distraction or a late flanking force, depending on how the team decide to move. That's a situation to keep our eyes on.
I mean, it seems like, honestly, there were so many more Brazilian players around that compound for a long time when they were looting. And it seems like they kind of in the... Oh, the psychedelic police lights.
Yeah, feel like
for
I'm
anyone
watching Superbad.
Any sort of epileptic, please turn off your monitor until we get this off, because that's...
I didn't know that we had such high-level special effects here at GLL.
It's Nicholas and the guys. They've been working hard over the
Black
past
Molly
couple of weeks.
Entertainment.
Yep. They've been working hard.
I do believe they've been on the phone with Michael, Mr. Bay,
Yeah.
since we referenced him about 1,000 times.
Clearly. We just need some not the static American flags, but like the waving ones, then we're all good.
There we go. All right, guys. Engagement's kicking off once again. We've got Sharky Yeet trying to land some snipes up there onto the high ground. Never an advantage. Well, rarely advantageous. It's rarely advantageous to be on the lower end of height. He's trying to look up there. It's much harder to hit those shots and get those angles. Peeking over. He can kind of try to get some information at least, do a bit of damage. But if he overcommits, those guys on the hill...
Yeah, he clearly has.
Going to rain down.
But now the red zone comes in. They say you cannot have high ground anymore. You have to make a move on out from Minas Generales, or we will make a new La Bendita out of the area that you're in, and they'll indeed have to leave.
La Bendita...
That's where we saw the action go down the previous.
Exactly. It's the crater where we saw a lot of the action in one of our earlier Miramar games, the match ended up being decided by a battle of peeking over that crater, in and out, everyone on it, and it ended up being a massacre. It was very interesting to watch. This time it's covered in a red zone. The circle is more centered around the northeast.
Where's third line going?
I don't know.
He's kind of going opposite direction of the circle. I mean, in all fairness, he did see a lot of Brazilian players move in, and now he kind of figures, okay, I have to go all the way around this red zone too. So he's maybe just not really in a hurry and wants to get over to his teammates at some point. But they're already in the center of the circle.
Yeah, he's
he'll get there eventually.
He's whipping hard right now.
Yep.
And then we've got Profi as well. Ooh, almost tipping over. Oh, convertible. These guys ride in style. This is USA.
This is American vehicles, you know?
This is American muscle.
Yep, it sure is. And the captain is going to get himself a good one of that. Seems like they're having some engine problems, though. A lot of smoke coming out of that
Sharky Yeet and the teammate. Is that Profi in that car as well? No, they're
up north, I think. They're far out northeast.
Yeah, what are those two doing in the red?
They're chilling. They're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly a shark on land. He's not that good at maneuvering.
Yeet. Sharky Yeet.
Is that yeah, I've heard that before.
The meme, yeet, when you like throw something.
I'm so bad at those. Yeah, I don't know them.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to do those. Maybe one day.
Just say yeet.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Okay, not right now. I tried to tempt you into it.
Yeah, I've
tried to bait you into it, as Nerf is baiting the Brazilians right now because his teammate, a little three-man squad in a convoy, are coming over the hill to support him. Could those cars be death traps, or are they going to get out in time? Yes, they're going to get out in time. 2 nays to push them back, and this is going to be a key moment. Sykesel takes down Ridonex, but they're not in a great position because the Brazilians are really controlling the high ground, moving around well. But they're making it work. They are making it work nonetheless.
And they're completely outnumbered, yet they're pinning down something like 20 players from the Brazilian team. It's actually rather impressive to watch how four guys can just... well, look at how they're forcing them back. They're 3 people. They're 3 players forcing back 20 Brazilian players.
It's like
how does this even work?
It's like they've got some magic where the Brazilians think that there's more. They think that there's more than there are. Maybe it's just the accuracy of the shots, the utility usage.
Yeah.
But the Brazilians not willing to challenge there when they had a massive numerical advantage.
They've got to turn around at some point and go like, wait, there, guys, why are we running again? I mean, it's not like there are that many. So clearly pulling off some crazy stunts there. Huh.
On board with Kaisuko. Shinboy and Rello a bit to his flank. And again, it seems like the Brazilians are sticking around on this hilltop. Natenho knocking down the Shinboy with a grenade. Dirty's in, pushing up here, maybe trying to draw some attention so that his teammates behind him can lay down some long-distance shots. He's playing a very risky game, but I like it. I like the aggression, taking a chance. And Rello is able to score some shots because of it.
Rello's trying to hold off the angle while his teammate is pushing up closer. Now the teammates are coming up on the backside hill too. Maybe with the high ground advantage being able to peek on over, but tons and tons of shots are being fired right now. And Profi saying, Sixful, can you please just move out? I'm trying to shoot the enemies here.
A hill above a hill. Hillception. Nerf, Famicity, and I missed the third name. They've got a hill now which overlooks the terrain the Brazilians are on, and it's not working out right now. Famicity taking some fire. Doesn't get knocked down. Caden and Rello actually getting 2 knocks, one of which is converted into a kill.
I mean, this is once again a game where, I mean, Brazil, they took a lot of the American players out down in Picado, and they kind of came to suffer from it, but now they're making their way on back. Shark and Caden taking out some players. Kaisuko does go down in return, so they need to apply some more pressure in here. If not, then it could get grim for the players from America, because we saw before, there are not a lot of guys down there.
22-22. A lot of American flags there showing up, and even more. Profi, the captain, showing his soldiers how it's done.
22-22, all tied up. And, well, I mean...
Ooh, Osni.
He needs to get the hell out of there.
He does, but I think he's trying to make a play for some information here, or at least to get round the back. He's using He's using the height here to hide himself, but he's actually backed off from that idea as they've pushed over, which was the smart thing to do. And he is going to go down, probably going to get killed. There's no chance he's getting out of that alive. Natalia also currently down. Can't see if the angle's there that he or she can safely be revived.
We talked about not wanting to get pinned down anywhere. Look at the position.
Yes.
Look at the position from the Brazilians. They're all sitting in a dip, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to watch a demo of this match to see exactly how they've ended up in this compound, but they've been corralled, a word that we've used before, by the Americans.
Moving around. Look at how they're pinning them in.
Yeah, and look,
it's like the cattle herding. Like it's
exactly.
They're the cowboys. Yeah. They're hurdling their
the cowboys.
Yeah, they're like with the lassos and everything, sort of forcing all the cows into the little, what do you call it? Like
the pen.
The pen, yeah,
I think
exactly.
It's the pen.
That's how things. I mean, it's Miramar as well. Doesn't make it any.
Ooh, some
better.
nice shots by Nerf there. Little nade putting extra pressure on the Brazilians. They're stuck. This is like a killing floor. This is a.
Yep.
It looks like they're stuck in a room that's just been riddled with bullets.
The only thing that could make things worse were if they got like a big red zone force right down on top of them. Because at this point, that's pretty much. I mean, that's all it is. They can't do anything.
I'm gonna feed the joke to our audience that my wonderful producer Nicholas just gave to me. It's amazing to see Jacob Pimp Vinegar, famous Counter-Strike player, on the Brazilian lineup.
Oh, he's clearly just gone for a nationality change up.
Yeah,
he figured the weather was too bad in Denmark, went to Brazil, and aimed to become a pro PUBG player instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to play the better game, you know.
Thank you for that joke, producer Nicholas.
I'll give him that one alongside the way. A little drum roll.
Yeah. All right, 20-11. I think the USA are closing this out. It's going to be a whitewash.
15 minutes. We talked about how this would be a long game. 15-minute Miramar game. I think the shortest one we had on Miramar so far were like 28. This is absurd.
It's a shame that we don't have any USA representatives in the studio. They're of course playing back home, because we'd be able to ask, like, how did you create these rather one-sided victories, especially on the second?
I know what they're going to say.
Like, it's unlikely that things are going to switch around now.
I know exactly what they're going to say, though. They're just going to say we gave them some freedom.
All right, 4 knocks, though, coming out. 3 knocks and a kill. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
A lot happening. Could I have spoken too soon on the side of the Brazilians?
They're fighting till that last guy standing cannot claim the victory before the entire enemy team instead. That's for Technish just going down.
Indeed.
Still have representatives up. Pimp still in the mix as well. Danish guy representing Brazil.
We saw an amazing comeback earlier today by Greece and Cyprus against Ukraine, but it was not at a disadvantage like this. It was more of a geographical disadvantage and just a slight loss of soldiers.
I mean, in all honesty, America, they're getting very greedy on this one right now, and they are sure still up and ahead, and Mufasa just got killed. No more singing there, unfortunately.
No more singing.
But, and now it's probably going to be too late. But honestly, it means 12 against 6 could be done if you're getting too greedy as the American team, but only one guy alive now. No, 2 actually. Handy who? Handy Grocer guy gets 1. If there's a weapon you want to have up close, that is this one. He has 218 bullets as well, but he's going to be in a potential 1v12. Make that right now. And
no longer a potential 1 versus 12. He is in an impossible situation. The panning has begun. The USA looking to stamp their victory in style.
How many
literally
players
on the head, on the face with a pan.
How many players are they willing to risk on this panning? Because this Grocer is a scary weapon up close. The pan comes in. He's getting them.
Oh, wow.
He's getting them. That's 4 knocks. How many are they willing to risk to pan him?
Oh, they're risking a lot. It's now just 7 American players remaining. I think they've kind of decided that risk was not worth taking. Flashbang comes in. Oh, they are still risking the pan. Oh no!
Oh, now people are shooting to bait him down. It's just.
Oh no,
it's just
guys!
To get the attention. It's just to get the attention.
Oh no!
It's not one yet. It's not one yet. How many are left?
Oh,
they shoot him in the end. They gave up.
They shot him in the end.
They gave up.
Yeah, the Team USA, they're trying to go out with a bang, or should I say a slap, with the pans, as did Greece and Cyprus did a number of times. But they decided not to put it all on the line
three players
with
alive
3 players
in the
remaining
end.
and shot the final Brazilian to death. Ladies and gentlemen, your GLL Nations Royale America's champion is Team USA.
And here I was thinking we were going to be casting till 4.
Yeah,
That was quick.
those 3 maps took just about an hour.
As Will Ferrell would have said it, well, that escalated quickly.
Indeed, that did escalate very, very quickly. That's technically correct as well as memingly correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, memingly. I'm not sure if that's a word, but we've coined a lot on
We've been the anchorman
broadcast.
of this show for the entire day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just before we lose our sanity, we've been able to see the America's champions crowned.
Yep.
Producer Nicholas, again with some completely nonsense information in my ear. He said Anchorman is the movie. Yes, I think everyone knows that.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Either way, thank you, Nicholas, for the support over today. Blackmore, you're doing a fantastic job. Just as Team USA did there, that was the most dominant 3 maps that we've seen over the course of today. What about the rest of the tournament? And for it to happen in the final as well, that's a huge statement by the Team USA.
Canada has a lot of skilled players, and the fact that these guys could take them 3-0 just goes to show. There are a ton of talented players coming out of NA. Would have loved to see them go up against Europe. I'm not sure who would win that one, but who knows? Maybe someday.
Yeah, national pride was on the line, and USA ended up coming out on top. So congratulations to them, commiserations to Team Brazil, but nonetheless still a great performance to come in second place.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? They made it so far, and that's a tricky thing, to say the least.
All right, well, thank you to everybody that has tuned in over the course of today. It's been a lot of fun, Toby. Thank you for joining me. Are you happy with how everything's gone?
Yes, and we've seen a lot of crazy things. This one was probably more of a quick shutout than we would have expected it to be. Not a whole lot of... it was a lot of excitement in the sense that they played as well as they did. It was great to see, but not a whole lot of unfortunate coming out of the Brazilian side of things.
Definitely, and everybody, that will be all for today. Team USA have been crowned the champions of the Americas, and tomorrow we will crown our champion of Europe. Is it going to be Team Turkey or Team Greece and Cyprus? Make sure you check in with us tomorrow at 4 p.m. CET. That is when everything is kicking off. And our grand final will not be a best of 5, it will be a best of 7. So even more chances for spectacular action and wonderful PUBG scenes. This is GLL Nations Royale, and we will see you tomorrow.
You think I'll beg for mercy? Fall to my knees to be your girl. Are you really that deluded? I I wouldn't touch you for the world. 'Cause I